This is my toilet flange in my remodeling bathroom. And as you can see, this duct, it's actually a metal flange. It's a 3/8 of an inch, and it's quite old. And if you look here, I want to show very soon from close proximity what's happening here. This flange sitting in the same level as the tile sitting here. So there is two ways to do it. One way is just to remove this flange, but that's really a little bit risky because this slab, it's concrete slab. So you don't really want to start actually try to remove it and have some issue with the slab. It's not like a plywood. And the second, I think I have another solution which is going to be cheaper and it will work even better on this flange. So let me show you from close proximity how the thing looks. So if I will look at it for close proximity, what you will see here, it's a flange that have a ring which is metal, and the inside of this flange is actually plastic. And this is a 3-inch flange. As you can see here, the level of the tile is really the same level or a little bit above this flange. If I put this one here, you will see that this road, flat road, actually go with no problem. The issue here is that we would like to put here an addition, a 1/4 of an inch, on this flange. Remember, this flange actually it's actually sit on a concrete slab. So the first thing before you start any work on flange or toilet, what I will do first is put gloves. Don't work with no gloves because there's many bacteria and viruses on this flange. And you can use these scrubbing bubbles to sit for 5 minutes and let it work to kill all these bacteria. We finished to clean the flange, and now I want to show you something here. Okay, I'm actually going to put here okay, so you can see I actually put in the seat of the toilet, and I want to show you what's going to happen. You can see because the flange is now flat or flush with the floor, I can go like that, no problem. I can move the toilet seat with no problem. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to put a box ring, that's not going to help because the toilet seat is still moving around this flange and you're going to have a leak eventually. So it's very important to give an elevation to this flange in order that the toilet will work properly. So what I did here, I actually flipped the toilet seat, and I want to show you there is a ring here where actually the flange going in. It's actually exactly 1/2 inch, and it's done for this purpose. So you can see what's happening here is imperfection, and there is really a valley here. Okay, that water can go here, from the floor. If it penetrates under the toilet, it will go here and accumulate here. So this thing has to be sealed. And you can see here it's okay, it actually have already grout here. And here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the silicone that will seal this area from here to here and here also. And that water will not really penetrate under it, accumulate here, and will create mold and mildew and all the other bacteria that will accumulate here. So what I want to do, I want to show you how I'm doing it using a GE silicone. Okay, so what I'm using here, you can see here, GE silicone. Okay, life warranty for kitchen, bathroom, sink, everything. Okay, so that's the best silicone to use here. And let me show you what I'm doing here. See, my intention is to seal everything here. So I'm putting a liberal amount. Okay, so I finished putting it. And now what I'm doing, I'm using these tools. Okay, it's called Procock. You can read it here. It's a Procock. And what I'm doing with it, I'm actually going and clean or smooth and clean the excess of silicone. It's actually also push it in. Okay, so you can see how nice it is. And this is the amount of silicone that I actually just remove. Don't really need it. So what I did, I cleaned the silicone from this tool or this piece of plastic here. And I'm going again just to remove the excess of the silicone from the tile. Now use this bounty paper just to remove if there is anything. Usually there is nothing almost. Just to clean the remaining of the silicone. Okay. And that's it. So in 30 minutes I can actually continue working, continue doing my work. So before, because we finished with the silicone, you can see the silicone here. You always have to close it with this cover, because if the silicone dry, it's gone. So you always close it. So this is the way it looks after an hour, so you can see how strong it is already. Even if I put my finger here stronger. So you can see here what's happening here. The silicone really sealed it properly. And now as you can see, the flange actually it's in the same level of the tile here. Let me show you. Okay, so if I'm going to take a level here, as you can see when I put it here, okay, so you can see from here, okay, that it's almost the same level, a little bit, maybe 1/16 below the floor. Okay, so I need to find the center of the circle here, of the flange. Let me show you how I'm doing it. So if you look at it from close proximity here, okay, so what you're seeing here is that the distance of the flange from here, exactly from this point, if you look here, okay, it's exactly 13.5, and here it's 9.5. So from the wall to here is 9.5, but from here to here it's 4 inch. Exactly. So what happened is the center of this, the center of the hole of this flange is actually in 11.5 inch from the wall. Going to here, the center actually it's here. Okay, that is the center. I already actually mark it here, and I also mark it here, 11.5 inch. So we know the center now, and we can mark it before we continue. So here I'm using a pencil here to go to the 11.5, and I'll actually just mark it here. Okay, as you can see, we mark here, and we're going here, straight, 11.5, it's here. I'll show you why I'm actually doing it. So we mark here 2 points, 1 point, 2 point here. Both of them, the distance between them to the wall is exactly 11.5. And the R, actually, if you're taking a line from here to here, it's going to be in the center of this flange. So this is the 2 points that we mark, 1 and 2 here. As you can see, they are both of them, their distance from the wall is the same, 11.5 from here and 11.5 from here. Okay. Okay, I just want to repeat how I found the center here. Okay, I measure between the wall here to this point in 13.5 inch. I measure between the wall to here is 9.5. Between here to here it's 4 inch. So the center of it is actually 9.5 plus 2 inch, become 11.5. And I actually mark it here, one mark here and 11.5, and the other mark is here 11.5, exactly from the wall. Both points are the same distance from the wall. Okay, and why I did it? Let me show you. I actually want to use the Fluidmaster. The Fluidmaster is the best product if you have in the market and that you can replace and not use a box. Instead of it, you can use a Fluidmaster. So if I put the Fluidmaster here, see, it's actually going perfectly, but there is a problem here because the flange here is in the same level of the wall, and this Fluidmaster not going to work because it's not going to create a pressure between the toilet and the flange here, that these will stay properly and gases will not go out. So as a result, I must give an elevation or raise this flange at least 1/4 of an inch. Let me tell you what I try to do and how I try to resolve the issue. Okay, so to resolve the issue, I have two discs. One of them, it's a ring actually, and this is 1/4 of an inch thickness, and this is 1/2 an inch thickness. And I cannot use this one because this I can use only if this flange is going to be below the floor at least 1/4 of an inch. But because this flange is the same height of the floor, which we flash with this tile, I have to use 1/4 of an inch here and put it here. Okay, and then put the flange over it here, and that will work perfectly. So let me show you why it's 1/4 of an inch and what is the reason that I have to raise the flange in order to work with this Fluidmaster. I really want to work with it. When it's actually work properly, it's excellent, it will last forever. Okay, so this is the Fluidmaster I would like to use instead of wax on this toilet. And what I did, actually, I flipped the toilet here. So this is called the horn. Okay, now let me show you what's happening here, because what's really should happen here is this Fluidmaster have to be here, sitting here on the horn until the end, when these and these holes or sleeves going to be exactly where is the hole for the screws. So now what I want to show you is, why do I need really to have an elevation for the flange? So think that this is the floor. If I'm going to put here the floor, okay, you can see really the floor doesn't press this Fluidmaster. These actually tend to be pressed, because if you press it, it creates a seal. That's for the gases and the water, but mainly for the gases from the sewage will not get out through the space here. So here, if you think this is the floor, I put it here, it doesn't create any pressure, it doesn't press the flange here, not the flange, the Fluidmaster here. and here there is no any pressure, so that's not very good. Let me show you what I'm doing with the disc. So this is the disc or the flange or the ring, they call it actually a ring, that I'm going to actually use to elevate the flange. So if I'm going to put it here like that, that's the way it's going to sit. But imagine the floor is coming here, everything is flipped. So I'm going to put now, this is the floor, I'm going to take it and you can see the floor. If I will show you from close proximity very soon, you can see the floor does not touch the toilet. In order to touch it, I have to actually press it. When you press it, the rubber here of the flange actually get pressed in, and when it gets pressed in, it actually creates a vacuum that gases and water cannot really go through it. And that's actually what the wax does, because the wax actually creates a seal, a vacuum that no gases will get out of the sewage. And the same thing you have to put here. So that's why the flange must be above the floor or on the floor. So if we look at it from close proximity, I will remove now the Fluidmaster. This is the horn here. And some toilet, really, the horn, this size actually is not standard. So some toilet have a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Usually the toilet is actually water efficiency. Most of them are the same diameter here. And it's hardly really, you need to press and just to force, you really have to force the Fluidmaster in. So now it's actually gone in. And remember, this sleeve here should be exactly where is the hole. Okay, both sides. Okay, so now what I want to show you, if I'm taking now the level which is like the floor, and I put it here, you can see it's sitting here without even pressing the Fluidmaster. And here is the same thing. Okay, a little bit press here, but here there is no press at all. Okay, so it's sitting here on the floor, so there is no really vacuum here, and that's not good. So if I'm going to put now the ring, here is the ring, and the ring going like that, sitting here. So you can see if I put here, you can see there is a space here, and this space will be pressed by the toilet and the screws to create the vacuum that you need, or the seal that you need from water and especially from gases. So that's why I actually gave to this flange and elevation. Okay, now you remember that I actually calculated the centers between found where is the center of this flange. So that is the reason. When I'm using this ring to elevate the flange, look what I'm doing here. I have to put it here, okay, that this space here, as you can see, these spaces here and the space here, okay, actually going to be exactly in the center of the flange. So when I'm putting it here, you can see this mark used as a reference. And let me show you why. Okay, so the Flange coming with these two screws here that you can see. And let me show you what I'm doing with these screws. And when I put the screws here, doesn't matter, they need to be exactly in the center of this flange. And now, okay, I can go and just, and they are in the center, I just put it here, and put this plastic here. Okay, so this plastic will really hold it in the center without a movement. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this ring exactly here between this point. So that's why I need the center here. So now that has to be in the center exactly here and here, because when I'm going to install the toilet, I want the tank of the toilet to be parallel to the wall. And that's very important, because otherwise, if it's not going to be in the center, the tank not going to be parallel to the wall, and that's not good. So that's why I have to make sure that these two screws are sitting parallel to the wall and they are exactly in the center. Okay, so now if you can look at this flange, you can see there are holes here. Okay, these holes is in order to attach the ring to this flange, and this flange is a metal flange, and I didn't remove it because it's a metal and actually attached to a concrete, so it's easy actually to just give him a raise of a quarter of an inch using this ring. But what is the work here is that you need really to drill hole in these metals and attach this ring to the flange with a screw, and I have a special screw because this slab is a concrete, it's not a plywood. So I have a special screw to screw it to a concrete. So the first thing you're doing here, you actually make sure it's in the center, and then you actually... It's a very easy work to do, because I'm actually using here, if you can see here, I'm using a metal drill. Here we go again. Okay, I'm taking this screw and I'm just putting here as a reference. That screw will hold this flange in its location. Okay, and now I'm going to make another hole. Just have to hold it very good with my hand. I already did one, so I'm going to put another screw. Let me put this screw. Okay, I really need to make at least, I think at least, here I have already holes, but at least I'm going to put 4 screws here. Another one here. Okay, another one here. Okay, so we actually drilled 4 screws. Okay, so what I'm actually using, I'm using a screw, it's called Tapcon here, you can see it. And it's a 3/16, the width, and 1/3. Okay, this is actually a concrete screw. And also, I have from the same company called Tapcon. There are actually bit here that you can see, it's actually 3/16. And that bit is a concrete bit. I'm actually going to go, and with this one I'm actually going to drill a hole for the screw. And let me show you how I'm doing it. Okay, so what I want to show you, I'm actually putting here already 2 screws here, 1 screw here, and here I don't have a screw. There are 4 holes that I just drilled. Okay, I'm taking this electrical driller. You have to use electrical driller, okay? I put the bit here, which is a concrete bit, 3/16, come from the company Tapcon, okay? Just put it here in the hole that I already drilled, and 90 degrees. I already drill a hole here, okay? It's very easy to drill with a bit that is a concrete bit in a concrete. I can just put it now and I can see easily it's going inside. I just need to actually screw it. Here is the second one, so I already put that one here. I will remove this one from here and I will drill again. Already drilled, and this is the second one. Okay, and the third one is here. Remove these. and 90 degrees. Okay, it's already done. Now put another screw here. And that's the way I'm actually going to drill these 4 holes for the screws. So this is the last hole I'm doing here. I actually make here 1 hole, 2 hole, 3, 4, 5, now I'm going to make 6. But I'm really going to use only 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because you don't really need 2 screws here and 2 screws, only 1. So here's the other one, I'm going to put it here. Really done. I have to take a screw and just put it there. So here's the screw, you can see it's a Teflon screw. Some of them come with a blue color like this, and some of them come with a white color like this, so there's doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to put it inside here, okay, inside the hole, and I just start the wheel now, it's here, and I'm just going to screw it with the screwdriver here, okay, until it will go to the end like this. As you can see here, it's already screwed until the end. Okay, so what I have to do now, I really have to remove it. I'll tell you why, because I have to put silicone under it. This is very important. So as you can see here, I already put 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one I use actually the blue screw because I ran out of white. But one of them are the same really. One of them is actually a 1/4 of an inch width, that's a 3/16, but actually they fit no problem here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually remove the screw out, and it's really difficult to remove, not difficult. Okay, I'll actually remove it. Okay, so let me show you what's happening here, because what I need to do now, I really need to put silicone, because that's a must. Why I actually need to put silicone? Because when it's actually going like that, there is a space here that you don't see really. It's a small space, and gases will come here. Gas from the toilet might going to escape between this space. So that's why you have to put silicone here. Otherwise, if you don't going to put silicone and seal it properly, gases may escape from these small holes, small space. And in addition to it, probably water will go in and out. So that's what you really want to be very, very careful to actually seal it with the right silicone, which I'll show you now. Okay, so we're actually ready to remove it. It's not so easy after you screw it to concrete. It's actually very tough to remove. Okay, that's not plywood, so let's. Okay, now I can actually remove, and you can see what's going on here. So I just clean it now with a vacuum cleaner to remove all the debris here. Okay, and then I'm actually going to put silicone here and on the back of it also here. Okay, so let me show you how I'm doing it. Okay, so what I'm using here, I'm using this same thing I used before. It's called silicone G clear 7 mold free lifetime warranty exactly for actually bath, kitchen and stuff. Very good silicone, lasts forever. So what I'm doing is actually putting silicone around the premises here. Okay, so we're over here. kind of a liberal amount. What I want to seal. And also I want to show from close proximity how does it look. As you can see silicone here and silicone on this ring here. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to attach the ring to the flange. Okay, so to attach this ring to the flange, what I have to do, I have to take this and slowly put it here, very carefully. Okay, so before I have to start putting the screws here. Okay, just to see which screw is going. And this is the other screw is going here. And the other screw should go, I believe, here. Okay, so now what I have to do, I have to press it and start screw it. Remember, the silicone will seal it forever. The screw really attaches strongly without possibility to get out. Okay, so as you can see, you have to press it a little bit with the hand. Some of them need screwdriver just to go in. Okay, this one also needs. This. Okay, so you can see. So that's it, all of them are actually in. Okay, and now what I have to do, I have to clean it. I have to clean the silicone. And I'm going to clean with this tool. Just remove the excess of silicone from the toilet flange. It doesn't only remove, but you also press it in. Okay? Okay, so as you can see here, okay, so I will show from close proximity, but all the screws are really strongly attached to attach the ring to the flange. What I want to show from close proximity, how does it look? So if we look at it from close proximity, okay, you can see here how the screw, here there was a hole which I actually put silicone on it, and here there is another hole. It's come actually, this hole comes with the ring, and here there is another hole which I really screw, which I really drill, and I just put silicone to seal it. Here's the screw I used, the blue one here. There was another hole here which I actually put silicone to seal it. So as you can see here from close proximity, everything is sealed properly. And what we need to do now, we need to wait for like 30 minutes or so until the silicone will kind of dry up and we can continue work and put the Fluidmaster and attach the seat of the toilet to the flange. So now what I want to do, I want to take this base and put it on the flange there. So there is two ways to do it, to put the Fluidmaster here, to leave it here and try it with here. It's also okay, but I want to use a recommended way to do it. And I'll tell you why, because when you put it as like that, then you go here, you see, there is a paper here that I just have to remove. Okay, and you put here, and that's one. So this is the way you put it. Okay, now you make sure now, if you put it like that, you make sure that the sleeves here on the bottom are inside the pipe. Talking about the sleeves here. Okay? So now let's put the toilet. Now if you actually put the toilet here, when the holes of where the screw should go in, there is no way that the toilet will go back and forward. It just can only go to the center. So that's the way you have to do it. You have to tune it slowly and put it in, and you guarantee that the horn, this is the horn of the base, is going to be here, inside. It must be inside. Okay? See what I'm doing here? I'm going to take it like slowly. Make sure that the screws, okay, are going in. One is here. Second one is here. Okay, that's it. Now just make it like this. And that's it. It's guaranteed it's inside. So before you actually closing the screw, just sit on it and just left to right, it doesn't even move. So it's excellent. It's actually sit on the floor and you create a pressure on the Fluidmaster, and that's the way the vacuum is created, or the seal is created, 100% seal. No gas and water will go out of this toilet. Okay, so what left now is actually to put this plastic here, you can see. And the nut. And I'm going to do on the other side. That's it, we actually completed to the base. And as you can see, it doesn't move and everything is perfect. So in summary, it's better to use the Fluidmaster. It is a better product than the Vax, but when you put it in, you have to make sure that it's pressed 100% against the toilet base in order to create the seal. Thank you for watching this video.